Have you ever been in a conversation and no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't hold someone's attention? Well, guess what? Being interesting isn't about being a genius or knowing everything. It's actually about the way you engage, communicate, and connect with other people. And the best part, science has figured out exactly how you can become more interesting. So in this video, I'm going to be going through 9 science-backed tips that will instantly make you more interesting to whoever you're speaking to, whether it's a new friend, on a new date, or one of your coworkers. Let's dive in. So, being interesting starts with showing your interest in other people. Research shows that asking more questions and actively listening during a conversation will make you more memorable and likable to the other person. People love to talk about themselves, so asking them more about their life and actively listening will instantly make you more engaging. Humor is a key factor in also making yourself more interesting. But the key point here is that it has to feel natural. Studies show that individuals that can make other people laugh without overdoing it are viewed as more charismatic and enjoyable to be around. People are much more likely to remember a story than a random fact that you just tell them. When you frame your experiences or knowledge in a narrative sense, it'll keep people hooked. It's all about engaging their emotions and creating vivid imagery. Passion is contagious. I'm sure we've all been there. When you hear someone talk about something that you love, it really draws you in. Studies show that speaking with enthusiasm not only boosts your attractiveness and makes you more interesting, but it also makes you come across as more compelling. Being a little mysterious can actually make you a little bit more interesting. So the key here is not to give away every single detail when you're telling a story, especially when this is your first conversation with someone. You want to leave some things for people to get to know you more over time. And actually, this will sometimes lead to more of a natural flow of conversation. If you aren't constantly over explaining everything, then that individual will want to prompt you on that specific topic. They might say, "Oh, you went to New York, but why did you go to New York? Did you go to school there? Does your family live there?" And as you can already tell, then that's just making a natural flow of conversation and it'll make you come across as instantly more interesting. When you show a willingness to entertain different ideas, people will instantly find you more attractive. Curiosity about different perspectives versus just instantly closing a topic down and saying, no, this is how it is, I'm not even going to consider that idea or your perspective on that, can instantly make your conversation more compelling and you can have more of a discussion about various topics. So it's important to have curiosity on different topics because this can turn an average conversation into a very stimulating discussion. I think it's really important to have an open mind rather than a closed mind because everyone has had a different experience. We're all on different walks of life, and I truly believe that you can learn something from everyone. As I've mentioned in my previous video on how to be more attractive, eye contact is also important here. So eye contact can make you come across as not only more confident, trustworthy, and likable, but it'll also show that you're engaged in the conversation and you are actively listening. But it's important here not to overdo it. The right amount of eye contact can show that you're interested, but you're not like death staring the individual. So I think it's also important here to mix in smiles and nods and like not constantly just staring the person that they feel like it's almost like an interrogation. Being an interesting conversationalist isn't just about talking, it's also about listening. People find that those who are more actively engaged in listening in a conversation are more interesting. So I think the key here is really if you are being prompted a lot with questions, I think it's important to, when there's a good time, to turn the question back to them and then actively listen to get to know that person more, because then that person will not only like you more, but they will also find you a lot more interesting. And lastly, but most importantly, be yourself. So it's so important to be your authentic, true self. People can tell when you're being yourself versus when you're faking any sort of persona. And a study found that people are drawn more to people who are authentic and genuine rather than those who are faking and making things up. So if you want to build more of a connection with people, then make sure to be authentic. So there you have it. Those are 9 science fact tips that will instantly make you more interesting to anyone. So whether it's curiosity, active listening, or even storytelling, you can try implementing any of these tips. These tips will instantly make you stand out in any conversation. So try them out, and I would love to hear if any of these have worked for you. And if they have, let me know in the comments down below. If there's any particular tip that stood out to you the most or that you were most shocked about, I would love to also hear that in the comments. And make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos coming up every Sunday like this one. And I will see you guys next week.